Hello and welcome to the Cosmic Casters YouTube channel. I'm one of the main hosts on this channel, Steven, and with me I've got special guest Leer.
Hello!
Today we are going to have a discussion/review of Dragon Quest XI-S on the Switch. This is not a review of the PS4 or PC versions. This is a review of the Switch version that came out last month. I will start by saying that this is my favorite Switch game, and probably my favorite traditional JRPG ever made. I love this game. I love the art, the characters, the music, and the combat mechanics. And after looking at the change list from the original version, I can't imagine playing this game without the quality of life improvements on Switch.
Don't you wish every game got quality of life improvements this good?
Yeah, I mean the battle speed and everything. Oh, it's great. Do you have any general thoughts, Leer, or do you want to go into specifics about certain things?
This is the best story in any video game ever.
Really?
That's pretty much all I have to say in general.
I mean, it is fantastic. I guess we can start there with the story and plot. This is going to be a non-spoiler review. I forgot to mention that first. So we won't go into specifics about the story too much. But for me personally, I love the pacing. I love the way that the plot progresses throughout the story. I will reiterate something that Derek said in his review from GameXplain. He said something along the lines of, "This game plays with your expectations of fantasy tropes, and uses that to its own advantage." Would you agree?
Yes, but knowledge of those tropes in no way takes away from the story. If you don't know the tropes, you'll still get just as much enjoyment as anyone else.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The story is literally just... the story is cut into two acts, I'd say. There's a Act 1 and an Act 2, and there's every single thing you could learn from theater or any sort of storytelling medium, this game uses to perfection. I can't think of any plot holes. Can you?
Not right now, no.
As far as you've gotten in, yeah, I haven't thought of any plot holes. The one thing I thought was a plot hole paid off later. So it's just, you care so much about even the tiniest things. There was a character in one village that just mentioned that they missed their son, and then if you like to talk to every single NPC, later on there's a character that's yeah, I miss my mother, and it's there's no story, there's no quest, nothing. It's just a throwaway line, and even the throwaway line just builds everything. Every single piece of dialogue was just lovingly crafted.
Yeah, the world building is just wonderful.
I can't even talk. It's just the story. It's just, I can't spoil anything.
Yeah,
it's amazing. All I can say is play the demo, and if you aren't already amazed at how it twists and turns you.
And the demo is gigantic. The demo took me 8.5 hours. It's taken other people 12, and I heard it took you 4.
It took me 4 hours and 10 minutes. That's because I like to play I like to rush through enemies. I don't like to do the random encounters unless I have to. So I was rushing from quest to quest. I did no side quests. I literally did the main quest and nothing else.
Yeah, you rushed through that demo like mad.
I basically played the whole game that way, where I was just going from quest to quest.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, you had the option, so there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the game was kind of easy, so I wanted to make it a little harder on myself, and that's, it's like most RPGs in that way.
It is easy, and I remember in the PS4 and PC versions in the West, they added the modifiers to make it more difficult. I didn't turn any of those on.
I did not either, and I didn't know they existed, actually.
Yeah, there's options for no shops. Every once in a while, townspeople will not tell you anything. Every once in a while, characters will just do nothing on a turn. Stuff like that.
That sounds like a speedrunner's dream.
Something to hinder them, of course.
I can't really say much else about the story without without going into spoilers. So go ahead and move along.
I will say that we'll have a spoiler discussion.
And I'm just gonna gush.
Yeah, we're just gonna gush about the game story.
There's not gonna be any structure in that video. We're just gonna go like, "Oh my god, do you remember?" Blah blah blah.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, exactly. That's what next week's video is gonna be like. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess next is gameplay. Great. It's wonderful. I love the battle system especially. It's very simple and easy to adapt to. The fact that every party member is viable at every point is great, because every party member gets XP unless they die in boss fights. I will say, though, that I used a lot more mana than I wanted. I think the mana usage is a bit high, maybe? I don't know.
I think that's a good balance, though. It makes it so that your characters are... it forces you to have to switch them out.
Does any character have, like, the ability to give mana, or do you have to use...
Rab does.
Rab does? Okay.
Rab has an ability. I don't know when or how you get it. I don't think it's something you unlock.
But yeah, that's like a minor pet peeve, but I love the battle system in this game.
So, I actually think the battle system is expertly crafted, and it's like a combination of like all of my favorite types of battle systems.
Oh,
so
and to clarify, we're talking about the 3D mode battle system.
Yeah, we haven't even had a chance to get the 2D mode.
I haven't tried 2D mode at all yet, including Tickington.
So 2D mode, like the only real difference is it changes the battle mode from like Final Fantasy X style to Final Fantasy 1 style. And so I guess it's kind of a...
You basically choose all your actions and then they all play out at once.
Right. So in the 3D mode, like your character definitely has a chance to go twice in a row if they're a fast enough character. But in 2D mode, everyone's going to get a turn before anyone gets to go a second time. So there's pluses and minuses to both types of battle. But I think that's like a detriment to Eric because he's such a fast character. But it also is a plus to a lot of your more powerful characters that are slower. And I don't even want to go into that. So the battle system, it's actually quite brilliant how they've put it together. Like, no character, like, I was trying to figure out which character would do the most damage, but like, it didn't seem to matter because every character, except for one, was able to deal a significant amount of damage if they had the MP to toss. Have you messed with Sylvando very much? Because I could not get him to do more than 200.
I put him in reserve when I got Jade.
That's kind of what I did.
Yeah, basically Jade did almost everything better than Sylvando does. The main thing that Sylvando has that Jade doesn't is more consistent AoE and then also the regen.
His best move has got to be the hustle dance. The hustle dance, which is like a full-on heal for the entire party, and he costs less mana than most of your magic users. Mm-hmm. So he's a great backup healer.
Yeah, he is. Rab is too, but that just goes to show, like, all these characters have ways to work with everybody.
Yeah, so in Dragon Quest VIII, they came up with this idea of, like, skill points, and, like, so you can, like, customize your characters, which really increases in replayability, because you can build your character differently next time. However, Dragon Quest XI, you can rebuild it immediately with gold, thanks to the rectification system. And the sphere grid is the best... Well, sphere grid is what they called it in Final Fantasy X, but this is the best version of that kind of grid. Yeah, it's a hex grid, but instead of like unlocking stats, which I will admit kind of got old after a while, but in this game you're just unlocking skills and you can plan.
You are unlocking stats, ahead. Like attack power while wielding. I think is the main.
Yeah. Those were like the only real stats that they really improved are things like if you wanted a big boost in strength or magical might and stuff like that. Yeah.
Did Dragon Quest VIII have character-specific skill trees?
Well, they didn't skill tree it. Basically, you put points into the skill, and then as the more you got, the better the skills you got.
Because in 11, each character has their own unique path that they can go down.
Right. So, like, you have, like... But the way they do a tree... In Dragon Quest VIII, you like just put like 8 points into spears, and then if you hit a certain threshold, you get the next spears fail. So 8 didn't have the branching path, so you didn't get to choose. It was more like you got to choose how much to put in each category. Well, in this one, you can choose specifically what you want in each category as long as you've unlocked something near it. So it's a much better system than any Dragon Quest that came before it.
Like, when I'm going to replay the game, probably within the next 6 months. And I'm going to do it completely in 2D mode, and I'm going to try to do different builds. Because there's just so much stuff you can do in this game. And I do want to play it in 2D mode, so...
Yeah, I was expecting a character to be good with fisticuffs, because there's always at least one that's just really good at
Which one?
Punching people. Jade's the only one that can go fisticuffs, but the problem is she just doesn't punch as hard as
I just have her
characters in other
spears,
Dragon
but
Quests.
yeah.
Yeah, I had to go spears because the fisticuffs just weren't doing the damage. But other than that, I tried, because I bagged a bunch of money later. I tried like changing their builds to try different weapons.
Yeah.
And I found that pretty much everything was viable except for Sylvando Whips was kind of weak, and Sylvando Whips and Fisticuff Jades, but like everything else was a fairly viable strategy. And frankly, those weren't like unviable, they were just less damaging than I would have liked. If you're really into status effects, those are actually really good, but because I was only fighting the bosses and they mostly are immune to those, or at least they have ways to recover quickly, they weren't as useful to me.
Yeah. Enough about the combat, though. What did you think of the exploration of the game?
Well, they did do a good job of making the dungeons not be annoying to figure out where to go next.
But in addition to the dungeon design being, I love the dungeons in this game. They're greatly.
Yeah, like I didn't get lost very often. Like there's one time I got lost is because I couldn't find the staircase, and then when I went up there, I was like, oh, I haven't been up the staircase, and then of course it all fell together. But yeah, the dungeons are great. The overworld exploration, those maps go a long way. Yeah.
And I like how the game rewards you for going in the little tiny corners of the map.
Oh my gosh, yes. It felt, I thought for a second I was playing Odyssey for a second. I was starting to think, like, maybe I can climb out of bounds and then find a bunch of coins or something.
Well, I mean, it is for some of the mounted monsters.
But, like, if you go down a wrong path or whatever, there was something there. Like, even if it was something small, it was something useful.
I always tried to go to dead ends. Because more often than not, find an item there.
You get something.
Yeah.
You get something. I started just trying to find all the recipes because the forging items was so good.
The forging system! Oh my god, it's amazing! I love it!
Yeah, it was, like, when I messed up, I done so well enough times it didn't even matter. I could just try again. One
thing that this game does, like one of the quality of life improvements, is that you can just buy the ingredients right there in the forge mode.
Oh my god. I cannot imagine having to find those ingredients.
Find those shops? The game basically says, is there a shop available somewhere that you've explored already that has these items? Okay, we'll buy it for you.
Like, if I didn't have that, it'd be like playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 again, just trying to find that one thing. I love Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but oh my gosh, it was annoying trying to find some stuff.
That's so convenient, just having that option right in the Forge menu. In addition to the fact that you can pull that out wherever you want.
Yeah, like, I would get mad when I couldn't buy something. I'd be like, why can't you do it for me? I was like, I want this really good item, but no, it makes sense. They don't want it to make it, like, super easy.
But as far as the world goes, I like the game rewards you for going, on the unbeaten path way more than I expected it to.
Yeah, like I said, this thing is at, like, high levels of well-designed.
Yeah, absolutely. Neither of us have played the original version of the game. So we haven't had the horror of the MIDI sound.
I actually switched to it.
Oh, because I love the orchestrated stuff.
I am not as big a, I don't know how to say this. Like, I don't put as much stock into the soundtrack, but I loved, I'm so used to the sounds because I played Dragon Quest VIII and Builders and all that stuff, and the soundtrack's really not that different from most Dragon Quest, but it's so well done, I don't need it to be anything else. I could see some people that really would like it to be better, but I mean, I don't care if this soundtrack was the worst thing ever. It's got a great story. So, but I tried the MIDI. I tried the MIDIs, and I could see why it might grate on some people, just because it's using less channels. I guess is how they say it. I don't know. I'm not an expert on.
Well, they're not real instruments.
Yeah, I understand. They use less channels because they're not real instruments. I didn't find them to be like super horrible, but I could see why people might think it grates on their nerves. It makes sense. But I was okay with them. Like, it didn't take me out of the experience. I was too busy paying attention to my characters. That's best praise I can give, is that, even if it was playing it could play Baby Shark for all I care, and I probably wouldn't even notice.
The only track that I have, that I dislike is the casino theme. Other than that, I love everything else. And if you did not like some of the tracks, you could always switch a couple of them, I think, to the Dragon Quest VIII ones.
Yeah, they've got a couple things.
But I haven't done that.
Yeah, I mean, the base game is already solid. I mean, all the extra stuff is just nice.
I mean, we did talk a little bit about the characters and gameplay side. What do you think of each individual of the main cast?
Okay, so we have 7 main characters, tons of side characters, and quite a few characters that are specific to a specific plot line, like like the mermaid that people know about. And I can't think of a single one that I couldn't stand. Like, the only one that bothered me was Sylvando, and that's just because his manner of speaking actually makes me feel uncomfortable.
You're right, honey.
If you ever say that to me again, I will punch you through this screen. Yes, that right there. But the thing is, even though his speech patterns were slightly annoying, he was still an amazing character with an amazing backstory, and he makes sense. There's no like arbitrary plot lines being made up for him. Everything he does fits his character, and that's true for everyone.
I can't wait till spoilers, because I can't wait to talk about his plot line in the game.
To be honest, like, even the character that at first I thought had the weakest build, like the weakest character, just not that she was bad or anything, just that she was just kind of a little bit, her backstory didn't seem to be that amazing, and then of course they did something that made it amazing. So every character was lovingly crafted. Who do you think?
Well, my favorite, in case my Discord profile picture didn't give it away, that's what we're using to record on right now, is Eric.
And you haven't even learned his backstory yet, have you?
We'll talk about that after, when we're not recording. But, because I'll just tell you where I'm at, where he's at right now in the story. What was I going to say? But my least favorite character, story-wise, not personality, has to be, the sisters, Veronica and Serena.
That's the one I was actually referring to.
Their backstory is not as compelling as everyone else's. One thing that we should mention, I played in English. Well, I'm going to be playing in Japanese probably a little bit in the second playthrough, because that wasn't in the original, I believe. And the one reason that I played in English was because the names are different in Japanese. Yeah, that does bother me, and that's another reason why I didn't play Xenoblade 2 in Japanese either. But that's beside the point. Veronica and Serena, their backstory is not great for what I've seen so far. But I'd still like the personalities, though.
That's what I was referring to, and let me tell you, they get it later.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Good. I mean, the main cast is amazing. There's a character later on that made me do a double take.
Oh, it made me do one too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just like, wow, okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. I was like, of course, it's also a hint, and it's just amazing how subtle it was.
Every character feels like an onion. You just keep peeling it away at their backstory and their...
But they're believable, they're understandable, and they're not convoluted. They're not Game of Thrones convoluted. They're simple and straight and to the point. There's no, oh well, this happened and this happened, and then like 5 seasons later, you have no idea what happened. No, it's perfectly straight and simple. Their characters make sense. Even the minor characters, the many kings you meet on your way, the many
just like the many plot focused like side plot characters, like the mermaid.
Yeah, one of the mermaid side plot. My wife was just watching me play, and she just saw the ending, and she was like, "I want to know that whole story." So I had to pull up on YouTube the entire cutscenes. It was like 40 minutes of cutscenes. She watched it, and she was like, "That was beautiful." And I'm like, "That's not even that relevant to the plot. It was just like a step on the way." That was like World 2-1 in Mario. Like that wasn't even that important, and it was beautiful. Like when I say this game was lovingly crafted, I mean this was crafted by like the greatest crafters ever. Like these are the masters of their craft. These are the masters of their craft. There are better stories, but not with this much detail. I don't know. I don't know how to say that. It's just one of the best put together stories. There's no holes anywhere. Like everything makes sense. Everything comes together. If you think they missed something, it's gonna come up later. I'm guarantee it. And like I've seen games do better world building, but I've never seen games do better storytelling than this game has, to me, frankly. Yeah, I mean that's a bold claim, and that's from my opinion. But I've seen better world building, but very very rarely. I mean, it comes really close to Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, just a little bit close.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
I know.
I'm kidding.
I
That was had to make that clear.
So I guess one of the last things we can talk about is the art and everything to do with the art. I'm surprised at how good this game looks on the Switch. It looks a little bit fuzzier compared to the PlayStation 4 or PC. But it doesn't matter. Still looks great.
When people complain about the graphics on the Switch, I look at games like this and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and go, that's good enough for me. Like, it looks beautiful, it looks real, it's still HD. It might, even in handheld, it might be 720p, but that looks gorgeous. I don't need more arm hairs. You know? It looks beautiful, it's adorable. You know, sometimes cartoons tell a better story than real life.
Yeah. Like, this is my first Dragon Quest, and I love the character designs, and I also have not watched all that much of Dragon Ball. Same character designer and monster designer. I love almost every design of the monsters. And characters, too.
Some of them actually came from Dragon Ball. The skeleton monster, he was in the early Dragon Ball as like an extra. He was like a background character. Yeah. If you ever watch, like, Did You Know Dragon Ball, you might, or Didn't You Do Dragon Quest? They show a couple examples. Yeah, really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, like, all the character and monsters designs are great. I mean, there's a few characters that I have issue with, but they're not main, they're just minor.
Gosh, is there anything else to say? Like, it's...
The game is great.
Like, they throw one plot twist at you in the demo, and if that isn't enough to make you want to buy it, I don't know what to tell you.
Please play the demo.
This game is begging you to play the demo. It's begging you. It's saying, don't buy me, play this demo, and then try me. And then buy me, because you're going to want to buy me.
Like Square just said, here, have 8 to 10 hours of the game for free. Because they're so confident in this game to begin with.
And let me tell you, so it took me 4 hours to do the demo, and I'm pretty fast.
Yeah.
So I did the entire game in 44 hours, and I haven't even gotten a dent into the post game, which is almost as long as the main game. I am not joking. This game will take time, and if you are in any way intrigued by the demo, this is probably some of the best $60 you'll ever spend. Unless you got like Breath of the Wild or Odyssey. But even then, this is more hours than you'll ever get out of probably both of those. I'm not sure. I never played Breath of the Wild as much.
And like I will probably replay the game in 2D mode, maybe like half 2D or half 3D with Japanese.
And if you're one of those who's got 100%, I pray that you will have enough time to play it.
It's gonna be hard. One thing that this is what I'm gonna cap it off with. In addition to post game stuff and specific story details, I'm going to hold off on talking about Tickington until next week's spoiler discussion. I haven't done much of it. Have you?
I haven't. I've only done the first level that they force you to do. That's it.
Okay. But yeah, I haven't done any of it, I think.
Yeah. I've been trying to gather as many passwords.
Yeah, they call them passwords.
I know, it's adorable.
That's great. But yeah, in addition to the 2D mode stuff and story specifics, I'm going to hold off on Tickington until I have a chance to play it by next week. Any closing thoughts?
A good story can save bad gameplay. A good story can save bad characters. But a good story and good gameplay, or a good gameplay and good characters, can rarely save a bad story. And this story is worth any negatives you find with it. If you don't like certain characters, if you don't like the gameplay, that story is worth every minute of it. The game will let you play itself if you want to.
I'm playing the game right now entirely on auto, and I'm doing just fine.
You can do that. You don't have to. It's completely an option. But that story alone, I'd say, is worth most of the price by itself.
Oh yeah, like this is great value proposition.
The story. Those cutscenes. Unless you're playing on a second playthrough, don't skip them. You will miss it.
And what would you rate this game? I'm pretty sure this is gonna be like the hardest decision all day. What are you gonna rate this game on a 10 scale?
15.
Huh?
15.
50 out of 10? It's like you're prepared to say that or something.
I totally was. 15 out of 10. Easily.
Okay. So you
any negatives you can find, I'll just point to the story. Say, but that story's worth it.
Yeah, pretty much. I want to go 10. I do, but you know what? Screw it. I'll go 10 out of 10 on this right now. Like I said. Well, I mean, I haven't even played the bonus stuff. I haven't played any Tickington
Yeah. At this point, if you're looking at any plot holes or anything, I guarantee they'll be solved later.
I'm far enough into the game where the plot is pretty much resolving itself, with a few exceptions, but I'm sure they'll be fine. Like even though I haven't even scratched the surface of the Japanese.
Oh, I don't even think I've scratched the surface of this game.
Like, and I don't even know what the post game is outside of like super bosses. So
when you get to the big plot point, and you'll know what it is, I'll tell you what the post game eventually turns into.
By the time we record next week, both of us will have finished the game, dabbled in some post game, maybe finish the post game in your case.
No, I'm a
You're gonna finish the post game.
I don't know what to do, but I'll figure it out.
and I'll play a good portion of Tickington, and we'll come back and we'll do a spoiler discussion for next week.
Oh my gosh! And don't expect any structure.
Oh, there's
it's gonna be
we're
gonna be interrupting each other.
This structure. Well, I mean, I'll edit that, but there's not going to be any structure to the next week's video. Trust me. Trust me on that one. There'll be a start point, a middle blah, and then an end point, maybe somewhere down the line. We don't know.
When we run out of things, when we're like, okay, wait, we talk about everything. Wait, there was that one time.
Yeah. Well, that was all for today. Once again, stay tuned in for next week. If you enjoyed this video, like it and maybe subscribe so you don't miss next week's spoiler discussion for Dragon Quest XI-S. Well, see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.